Hello everyone, welcome back. I know it has been a while. A lot has happened in that time. I have gotten married, I went on a short honeymoon, and I got Black Francie. So this doll is what we'll be taking a look at today.
This is Francie. Long hair, real lashes, and bendable legs. She's mod, you know, like new. And all her clothes are mod too. Real kicky things. Granny gowns, ruby jumpers, and stockings like wild. Francie, Mattel's Marvy new teenage doll. She's what's happening. You can tell she's Mattel. She's groovy.
So Francie is Barbie's cousin. She was released in 1967. And she is also the first doll that Mattel released with a darker skin tone. So we refer to her as Black Francie today, but she was originally called Coloured Francie. And I believe she was Mattel's way of testing the market to see if perhaps people would stop buying their products if they started being more inclusive. So yeah, very exciting. And the original dolls, they have a tendency to go green in the face. There was kind of two waves. One retains their hair colour and the other one goes Ronald McDonald red. And so yeah, so basically at best you're paying $2,000 to $3,000 for a green-faced, red-haired doll, and it's just not justifiable. Not to me, at least. Even if I had that kind of money, I would not spend it on a doll like that. So I was really excited when I saw the promotional pictures. I didn't want to get my hopes up. As we all know, the promotional pictures are usually better than the actual product itself, but in this case I actually think this doll here, the actual produced product, looks better than the promotional pictures. So I am super duper excited. I also purchased one for Eddie as a gift for being my best man. Now Eddie tells me that on the European box they don't have this illustration of Francie on the back. They just have the different languages, like French and German and all that on the back, because he did purchase one to unbox as well. So this doll is made in Indonesia. She is copyrighted 2021, but she was released this year. So this doll, I believe, was released for Francie's 65th anniversary. Let's have a look at this box. Very mod, and I believe it is based on the Francie house, or at least one of the mod vintage structures. I do wish they made it a little bit more usable, because I believe this will most likely be going in the bin. It's cute, but basically once you rip the doll out, you've got a whole bunch of holes in it and stuff. You can't use it for anything. Let's take a closer look at the back. Might have to lighten this so that you can see the illustration properly. I do not like this illustration. It looks like she has broken ankles or something. It looks a bit clunky. And there we have some text. Meet Francie, Barbie doll's modern teenage friend. She's actually her cousin, so I don't know why they've called her a friend now. Isn't she groovy? She made her debut in 1967 and was the first Mattel doll with a dark skin tone. Francie has always been hip and happening, especially her fashion style. She's wearing a kicky A-line striped dress with a hot pink ruffle and matching gloves. Those long rooted eyelashes are the most. She has a twist and turn waist and bendable legs for loads of posing fun. Like the original Black Francie doll, she's is swell. So obviously the swell comes from the slogan, you can tell it's Mattel, it's swell. And I think with Francie, they actually started saying, you can tell she's Mattel, she's groovy. I don't know, I feel like they're missing a lot of little things that they could have done there to tie it back into Francie, but that's alright. Doll stand included, colours and decorations may vary. They do have like individual barcodey things. Alright, let's open her up. So on the back here we have a tab within a tab. So we just pull that out, and it opens like that. So very easy, no stickers or tape or anything like that. Then Francie should just slip out like so. So she's very cutely packaged in this little cardboard box. She has her stand here attached to the back with a little bit of sticky tape, not too much. And she has her certificate of authenticity, which I honestly think is a waste of paper. I know some collectors like this, but it's like, really, she's not that rare. Like, who's really going to try and fake, you know, Francie? So her stand has the Francie logo on it. And it is just one of the regular Francie, Mattel stands that kind of have that little waist grippy bit to it. Not crazy about these stands. I wish they had done an X stand. So it looks simple enough. So you just fold these tabs in and feed them through the card. It looks reinforced to prevent tearing. So they probably do actually intend for you to reuse this little box as a backdrop or something, but I really think they should have figured this out better so that there weren't slits and holes and stuff all in it. See? So you have all these little... It's just a door. It's a bit strange. But I think you can undo all these tabs and you can fold it out. Now we've got to get all of this plastic off Francie. She's got those annoying little tabs in her head. Scissors. Just cut these off while everything else is held in place. I really wish they'd stop doing this. Of all things that they could change with their packaging, these little tabs in the head are the things that I would change. They're just so annoying and unnecessary. Undo this little waistband. I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how easy this is to remove her. It's not actually as bad as I thought it would be. Now if you want to keep her wrist tag intact, you'll have to fold it up in order to remove this little arm holder thing. So she has elastics holding on her shoes. They do tend to fall off if those elastics aren't on, but I don't want elastics on her. So, and there she is out of the box. She is wearing a reproduction of the Francie outfit called Floating In. This reproduction feels a bit plasticky. The ruffle is actually quite nice. I believe that's... Well, it could be synthetic too, but it feels like cotton to me. Her hair is extremely gelled. It is rock solid. Like, listen to this. I've seen people wash it out and it does look better. So I'm going to give that a go before I show you some pictures of her. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but she does have some cut hairs here, and I've noticed this with some other people's dolls. But if you look closely, they match up exactly with the fringe. So where the fringe ends, these start. So I think that is just leftover hair from when they cut the fringe, and they just haven't cleaned it away properly. I don't think it's an actual flaw. Her lips are a little bit off, and her eyes can be a bit off as well as her eyelashes. These are problems that multiple people have complained about. See, I don't want to defend dodgy quality dolls, but if you look at vintage Francie, I have seen a lot in my time as a collector, and they are always, well, almost always wonky to some degree. So eyes are always a little skew-if. I've seen some of them have their eyelashes actually rooted onto their eyeballs. So I have not yet seen one of these as bad as that. So I think, all in all, she's actually quite good. If anything, those imperfections make her even more authentic to the original Francie doll. What I like most about this reproduction that is actually different from the original is the skin tone. It actually looks a fair bit darker and a little cooler. Okay, so having a closer look at the dress, it closes in the back with an elastic loop and a small, almost translucent pink toggle button there. So we'll just take that off. And then underneath on the underdress, again, we have an elastic and a button. Oh my goodness, come on. There we are. I'm trying to remember the name of this fabric. I believe it's organza. And I'm not sure if this is intentional. I see it on the original, but it's a bit gathered around the neckline. It would make sense because it is a tent dress. The armholes aren't stitched down. They are just bound with tulle. The underdress part is, it's like a synthetic, it's almost like calico, but it's synthetic. I'm not sure what you call that. And it's white. It's kind of gross. I'm not a big fan of this outfit. I feel like it's a bit too much, but I understand why they reproduced it, because it is a collector favorite, and it does tend, the original does tend to fray a lot and tear apart at the seams and stuff. So this is great for people that want to own it in perfect condition. It is tagged Francie 2021 Reproduction. She has tricot gloves, which are stuck. They're stuck onto her. They've double-sided taped them to her. They are very mitten-like. The original Barbie gloves kind of came down into a point when they were off the hands, so that when the hand went in, it just filled it out. These ones are more curved, so they tend to look a bit more mitten-like. And here's Francie nude. I'm just going to show you her articulation. Her arms go up and down. Her head goes from side to side. Her waist twists and turns, so it twists on an angle. Her legs go up and down, and her legs click at the knees. I can only really get two clicks out of them. The vinyl for the legs is quite different to the original Francie dolls. I read that at some point they had discovered that the formula for the leg rubber of dolls was toxic, and then they had to change it to a more rigid plastic. I don't believe Mattel can really get around this and make them more soft like the original legs, purely for safety reasons. So I forgive them for that. I think they did quite well with the hands and stuff. I've seen the 90s Black Francie reproduction, and her hands seem quite thin, which is not as accurate, but these ones are much thicker. So on the bottom, she is marked 2021 Indonesia. So this is a new body sculpt, and it actually has the original style neck knob. So the head is really easy to remove. There are no hooks or anything to hold the head on. So if you wanted to, If you had like an original head and you wanted a body for it, you could get one of these dolls for that. Or if you wanted one of these heads to put on an original body, that would work also. Okay, so here is the Reproduction Black Francie next to an original white Francie. The original Francie usually has a bit of a side glancing eye. Reproduction Francie is definitely looking straight ahead. The fringe is really hard to tame. I tried boil perming it, but it does not want to stay down, so I may have to gel it again. It does seem a bit higher than the original Francie's. Also, her eyebrows are a little thicker as well. The sculpt looks very good. I do think the Reproduction looks a bit fuller in the face, but apart from that, I think it's very well done. I boiled her hair just to kind of relax the curl a bit. When you just wash out the gel, it is very curled still. So if you like that flip, then all you really need to do is wash out the gel. But I wanted more of the relaxed look that the original dolls have. See, like Francie never really had a full flip. It was kind of just slightly flipped at the ends. So that's what I went for here. As you can see, it still is a bit curly at the back there. Her hair is longer, but the original Black Francies do have a bit longer hair, so that is also accurate. The Reproduction Francie is actually about half a centimetre shorter than the original Francie. Now there are some vintage Francies that are a bit shorter, so for example the standard Francie dolls and the baggy Francie dolls are a bit shorter, so the ones with hard legs. Maybe they based this sculpt on the hard-legged doll and therefore she's a bit shorter. The hands, as I mentioned earlier, are very accurate. They are fuller, really detailed, like the original Francie dolls. But the legs are thinner. It is very slight, but you can tell by the gap between the legs. And also the shoes don't get filled out as much. As we all know, there is an issue these days with Mattel facial screenings. She doesn't have a lot of pixelation, but there is some slight pixelation, especially in the eyes. So all in all, I think this is a fantastic reproduction of Francie. The best one they have done yet. I actually think it is probably one of the best reproductions they have done, full stop. It is quite accurate. There are a few things different, but I think that is to be expected. These are reproductions, they aren't the original dolls, but also it does differentiate them from the original dolls, so it's harder for people to kind of pass these off as the originals. I'm so happy to finally add her to my collection. As some of you may know, I'm a huge Francie Fran. That is so hard to say. I'm a huge Francie fan, and I have wanted Black Francie for a while, but just pretty much said, forget it, I'm not doing it, not for those prices. I finally have one, and for a very reasonable price. I purchased her directly from Mattel, which was a bit of a drama. People got them off store shelves a lot earlier than I did, but I only paid 85 Australian dollars including shipping, and they are retailing here in Australia for about 110. So it's $25 more expensive, but you do get to choose your own. That way you can choose the best example, and you don't have to wait. I think I need to fix her hair up a bit more. I do want to make her an outfit. I'm not crazy about floating in. I may or may not keep that even. But I want to make something nice and pink to match her lips, like a light pink. Okay, so that is all for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time. See ya.